Welcome to iPreps with Kevin Gorman on the Trib Live Radio. We're here at Armstrong High, the new Armstrong High School, with Coach Frank Fabian. Coach, can you talk about the excitement of bringing both Ford City and Katanning, two arch rivals, together and forming one program? What that's been like to kind of get ready for the first game of the season?
When I get that question, I always, January to May was a long haul, just because the two schools were separated. This summer it became a lot easier as our group got together and we started to spend time with one another. We in our program we think time is the most valuable resource you have. So we're either going to grow apart by spending time, or grow together by spending time, or grow apart by not spending time. And our kids have had a great summer. They've been great. They've adjusted. We got a little bit of excitement in the air for this Friday.
How much has training camp helped you get ready, and how much have you had this date circled, waiting in anticipation, knowing that Hollidaysburg would be the season opener and you'd finally kind of go out there in the new uniforms and play your first game together?
Camp is crucial. When you go through that, it's a grind. Anybody that's ever put shoulder pads on, the dog days of summer, you're out there with your friends and you're looking around, the sweat's in your eyebrow. When you go through something like that as a team, I think it only brings you closer together. We had a tough camp. We were looking forward to that. A lot of camp competition, so we had kids get after it, but they were supportive of one another. So camp was absolutely crucial to getting this team together, and we've had a very good camp. Now, we shifted gears this week, and we're getting ready for Hollidaysburg and preparing for them.
You take two schools that were arch rivals, and poetically enough, the series ended in a 37-1 draw. What was it like to merge these two teams together into one, and to have kids from Ford City and Katanning and coaches from Ford City and Katanning, and guys like yourself who went to Ford City but coached at Katanning and teach there? What's been the challenge of bringing everybody together and kind of getting everybody to really kind of accept and to move forward with the Armstrong?
The challenge has been just getting everybody pulling the rope in one direction. When we first started it, there was a little bit of resistance for some of the kids that were new to us. But as time went along, I think it was a little easier than we anticipated. We had, like I said, we had kids out here competing, getting after it, but being very supportive. This day and age with social media and Twitter and Facebook, a lot of these kids knew each other, in my opinion, and it wasn't near the difficult transitions we thought it would be. And once we got them together and they started supporting one another, we've had a good camp, and it's actually been relatively seamless as far as the kids go.
How excited is everybody to pull on the orange and blue for the first Friday night and play against Hollidaysburg as the Armstrong Riverhawks?
Very excited. We've been at this a long time. We started, back in January with our weight training, as most of the teams around the WPL did. When you're doing something for that long, and you come out here for the last 2 weeks, we've been beating on one another, and we're just excited to get out there and get against another team. The blue and orange, it started to pop up this summer. You see it all over town, and the Riverhawk jerseys. I think Walmart's selling it. Downtown Katanning, we have a clothing store, that 700 shop, that's the gear's gone up in the window, and you're seeing a lot of it around. Teachers, we just had our first in-service. This is our first week of in-service, to walk into that new school and see what we got now. This is really exciting. So I think when those jerseys go on for the first time we walk out, it's going to be a really exciting time.
You've got a kid in junior running back, Dane Zudek, who has one parent from Katanning, one from Ford City. He played Pee Wee ball for Ford City, played high school ball the past 2 seasons for Katanning, rushed for more than 2,000 yards. How much is he the catalyst, being that he's one of your top players and a guy who's going to take a leadership role? How much has he been a catalyst for this merger?
He's been a big catalyst. Kids kind of gravitate towards him. Like you said, he is one of our best players, and what's helpful as a coach is when one of your best players is also one of your hardest workers, and he's certainly that. We're in practice, he takes a handoff, he goes 20 yards downfield, and he's on a full sprint. Young guys look around and say, oh boy, if he's doing that, I better be doing the same thing, and it just kind of, it trickles down, and he's been a leader. I think he's kind of rallied the kids because he did play youth football down here in Ford City. He knew a lot of these kids, and a lot of the things that they've done outside of football. They've gotten together for some trips and swim parties and, canoeing, fishing, things like that. I think he's been the main organizer in a lot of those events too. So, which is always important for these kids to develop a bond off the field too.
With Zane, he's kind of a special player for you guys too, who's had success not only in football but basketball and baseball, has been part of this rivalry. What makes him special in football? What makes him stand out, especially as you move up to Class AAA?
It's a cliche to say, a player's a coach on the field, and maybe I've used that term in the past, but I've never had a player that's truly a coach on the field that he is. Example of that, the last scrimmage we had, we're huddling up, and I make a call. We go to the line. All of a sudden, he turns around and looks at me. He says, "Coach, we can't run that out of that formation." And as being a coach, you want to, just run it. Then I paused a minute, thought about it. He was right. Huddled the guys back up. We ran the play out of the formation he wanted to run it out of. 55-yard touchdown, the very next play. So, he is truly a coach on the field. On our secondary, he makes all our calls, all our checks in the secondary. Believe it or not, on offense now, we've always had our center make the line calls. He calls out the fronts and whatnot. We have a center that's kind of inexperienced up there this year, so we decided to have Zane now call the fronts out on offense. So kind of unique for a running back to do, but he understands it. So, what makes him unique in addition to his athleticism is just how smart he is and truly a coach on the field.
All right, thanks so much, Coach Frank Fabian from the Armstrong Riverhawks.
Okay.
Hey, good job.